Mr. Lunch. Mr. Alanj, how are you?
Hello, Gamar Tov to you. Gamar Tov.
How was your...
Very good. Very piece of cake.
too.
Piece of cake, the easiest I ever had. Literally, the easiest I ever had. I could have got another day. I could have got another day.
I did not feel like eating after this fast.
Me neither. I didn't have any appetite. I didn't have any appetite. And I had a cup of coffee and
I had a bagel. That's it.
I had a cup of coffee and a toast. The problem with a cup of coffee is it kept me up all night.
The problem is the shul was so cold, Alan.
Really?
I had to drink a boiling tea when I came home because I was trembling. I don't know what they do. I really don't know.
I don't know. It's because people complain if it's too hot, so I guess they made the other way.
It was very cold.
Yeah.
It was crazy cold.
I heard that same thing by Yavna also. It was very cold there.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
I knew it was cold when I got there early yesterday, and Ralph was taking the meat out of the shul. That must have been cold.
Yeah. They didn't want to freeze it too much, you know.
Yeah, the ladies, all the ladies were complaining. It's but it keeps you awake. I guess maybe that's why it's done. I don't know.
I guess so. You had a good bout. You had a good bout filler too, right?
Yeah, we were good. We were very happy. We good davening. How about you? Who was your bout filler?
Good bout filler. His name is Yaakov Genauer.
He learned well.
He Shachris and Musaf, and then what's his name? David Neil and Mincha. What's his name? His father's the doctor, married to the last girl.
Newman?
No, Newman did for Yontif. No, the two brothers, the single guy. Their father is married to the last girl. What's his name? The doctor is married to the last girl. They live on. Yeah. He davens by Young Israel. His father's a doctor. He lives.
Not Winter. No.
No. Starts the P. I think is it. His father. The Latin girl. They live on they live on June and 2nd. Next to.
She married Moshe Gravy.
Yeah, Gravy. Yeah, so the two brothers daven here.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, they're very nice. Yeah, and then we had most of the people that daven couldn't walk to shul. They had walkers and couldn't walk, so they daven. So we had a minyan there, small minyan. So it was very nice. Yeah, daven we started 8:30. We finished 12. We had about a 5-hour break, and then.
Nice.
And no speeches, no, And Lenzer was here. He was a gabbai. It was very nice. Yaakov Lane.
Lenzer was by you?
Yeah, Lenzer by us. Yeah, he was. Oh, it was very nice. It was comfortable.
Was Charles Jacobs by you?
Yeah, Charles Jacobs and so a lot of about 20 women. The women also couldn't walk so well. Nice. Older women, so for these older people, it's good for the old people. Us young guys could have gone to shul, but oh well.
Next year,
I had caught up in the daf, So
I get kvittel, everybody.
Kvittel.
A good kvittel, everybody. So
okay.
Just want to say a good kvittel and have a good Sukkot. I guess I'll see you on the Zoom from Israel.
Oh, you go to Israel. Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Wow. When are you leaving tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning early, yes.
Oh, have a safe trip. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on Mem Base 42.
Yes.
Rabbi Yonasan Minayin Shekol Yisrael Kulon Yoitzim BePesach Echad. That if there was only one sheep, all of Klal Yisrael could be Yotze with that one Korban Pesach, even though there's no way that each member of Klal Yisrael could eat a kazayas. of that sheep, but that's okay. Why? Because it says v'shachatu oso kol kahal adas Yisrael bein arbay. V'chi kol kahal kulam shoichtim. Not everybody is shechting. Halo einu shoichet el echad. El mikan shekol Yisrael yoitzim be Pesach echad. Eating the korban Pesach is not ma'akev as long as it was shechted for you. So the question is shaliach b'kodshi minole. So how do you know that a shaliach works by kodshim? So the Gemara says, what do you mean? Minei. From that pasuk that one guy can shech for all the Klal Yisrael. So the Gemara says that's not a good proof for other mitzvahs because Dil Mishani Hasam, the Islay Shutfis Begavai. We know there's a concept of being a partner in the Korban Pesach, right? You subscribe 10 people to one animal. So maybe that's why Shlichus works. Ela Mehach. From another pasuk by Korban Pesach. It says, Vaychu lahem ish sela vesavo sela boys. One person can take for the whole family. Again, the Dilma also namidiyasly should for spukavai. That's not a proof. You're still dealing with a mitzvah, the Korban Pesach, which there's a concept of partnership. Well, then the Gemara asks, Imkain Trey Kroy Lamali. Why would you need two psukim then? Teach me the same thing. So we have a concept of Im'eno Inyan. Im'eno Inyan Lahecha Shayach. Tneu Inyan Lahecha Shalosh Shayach. If we don't need it for in the parsha where there's shutfis, then you can use it for other mitzvahs where there's no shutfis. Frank the Gemara, but that pasuk is needed. I'm a boy lay the Rav Yitzchak, Sham Rav Yitzchak. Ish zoicha v'lo yakoten zoicha. An adult can be zoicha for other people and not a cotton. So the Gemara says, I don't need that pasuk. So the Gemara, so now we're back to having two psukim, stay in yon, stay to Tneu Inyan. Or it says, Akati mi boil, it's still needed for something else. Because it says, Ish lefiach lo, shechshochdin al Pesach ala yachid. It means you don't have to shecht it for 10 people. You can shecht even for one person. Sover lo k'manda Omer ain't shechtis al Pesach ala yachid. So that Manda Omer holds that you don't shech for one person. So you don't need the pasuk, so you have two psukim. And you have the Tneu Inyan. Elahasham Rav Gidol Merav. Minayin sheshluch shalom kamoso. How do I know that a shliach is like a person? Shnemar. It says v'nasi echad mimateh tikhul in cholas haaretz. That each nasi served as the agent for the rest of the shevet. When they divided up the land and the Nesiim were the representatives of the Shvatim, so we see their shlichus. Anything of a Tizbara? Daha shlichusu? Maybe that's not shlichus. Ha ktanim lavne shlichusu. The ktanim in a shevet could not appoint a shaliach, yet the Nesiim were zocha the nachla even for children. Ella, the chaluk of the nachla occurred through a different mechanism. Another principle called zechia. Somebody's walking on the street and finds a lottery ticket. I see Mario's name. I see he's a winner. I can pick up the lottery ticket, be zoicha for Mario. That's called zoich in la'adam shaloi b'fanav. Now let's say there's an IOU that Mario lost. It says I owe you $5,000 to somebody, Chaim Yankel, sign Mario Horowitz. So it's a debt document. And I find it in the street and I am koine for Mario. Mario can claim you didn't. You cannot pick up a liability for me. You can pick up a benefit for me, but not a liability. So when the Nesiim got the various divisions on behalf of the other members of the Shvatim, it's not al shlichus. It's the principle of Zachin. Frankly, more of a tizbar sheschusi. Acquiring the land for somebody might not have been a schus, might have been a choiva. Choiva nami yikad denicha le bahar v'donicha v'bika. Person, for example, wanted to have his nachla in the mountains, and he got it in the valley, which is a problem for him, based on his parnasa. Ikad denicha le b'bika v'donicha le bahar. And after the chalukah by the Nesiim, nobody could argue. So Kedivrei Rabbi Ravuna, Dam Rabbi Ravuna Amar Gidol Rabbi Naili Yisoimim, Shabau Lochlok B'Nitzei Aviyah, Hashabezi Mamidan Lampatropos, L'chov L'Zakois. You have young children, father passes away, leaves assets. Bezdin appoints an executor to deal with liabilities and assets. Now, lechov amai. Why would Beis Din appoint an executor to give them liability? Ella lechov amnas liskos. He is appointed to deal with the assets of the Yisraelim. Sometimes you might have to do something that it appears like it's a choy for them, even though later on it'll be a schus for them. Talmud loymar, nasi echad b'matet tikach. Am Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel. Yisomim shebao lochlok b'nichsei aviyah. Yisomim that are going to divide property of their father. Beis Din mamidim lem apotropos uboim lem. The executor chooses for them chelek yofe as best as he can. V'migdilu yicholim limchos. When each one of them gets older, they can say, "I don't like the piece that he chose for me. I'm going to protest." However, Rav Nachman didei omer migdilu einam yicholim limchos. If the minors become adults, they can't protest. Sheim kein makoch Beis Din yofe. You made a mockery of Beis Din. Beis Din appointed an executor. He chose for them. If we're going to end up overturning that, what kind of koch does Beis Din have? Freik the Gemara mi Yisrael Rav Nachman im kein ma Beis Din ma im kein ma koch Beis Din yofe. Does Rav Nachman hold of this? But none. Shuma Dayon. The judges estimate the assets of the borrower. Shepichsu shtus, or husru shtus. And they made a mistake by a sixth. Either they overvalued or undervalued. Machran botel. It's all, if they sold something that belonged to them, they can reverse that. Anything greater than a six can be reversed. But Rav Shimon Gamliel are machron kayim. But Rav Shimon Gamliel she'im kain makoch Beis Din yofe. If you can reverse it, then what power does Beis Din have? However, on this, not like Rav Shimon who says makoch Beis Din yofe. So Rav Nachman doesn't hold of this principle. Loi kasha, ha de to. When we don't say makoch Beis Din yofe, when Beis Din made a mistake. when he says that they cannot reverse the executor when the executor didn't make a mistake. So idilotou ma yichol limchos. If the executor didn't make a mistake, then what are the Yisomim protesting about? Yichol limchos baruchos. They don't necessarily want to be exactly next to that person or next to that person, the specific location of their sada. They're allowed to protest. When brothers divide that which they inherit, we treat them as if they bought these pieces of land from each other because of ona, undercharging or overcharging. So if there was a mistake in the division, pachos mishasus, if it's less than a 6, nikne mekach, the division stands. Yeser al shus, just like a purchaser, if he was overcharged by a 6, he can reverse the sale. Same thing, batala mekach, by the brothers, they can reverse it. If the mistake was shasus, exactly a 6, kana, then it stands. Umachzir, but if he received a little bit more, he puts it back in the pool because machzroino. If the mistake was less than a 6, the transaction stands. Lo yamaran el deloy shavya shaliach. That's where he didn't appoint one of the brothers to be a shaliach in his place. Avishav shaliach, then the mekach does not stand. Because ki omar, he can say, I sent you for my good, not to ruin me. And even if it's less than a 6, he can reverse the sale. That which we said, Adamara, the Yeser Mishus Batal Mekach, that if the mistake was more than a 6, the transaction is abolished. Loy Amaran El Shaloy Arma Niflikin B'Shuma Beidina. Let's divide according to the assessment of Beis Din. Avalim Omar Niflog B'Shuma Beidina. If he agreed to that, Machron Kayim. If he pre-agreed to that, then even if a mistake was made more than a 6, it stands. This not Shuma Dayonim. Shepichsu Shesus Oyois Rushtus. If the evaluation of the judges were less than a 6 or more than a 6, Machron Batal, but Rosh Hashanah are Machron Kayim, because of the issue of Yofet Ma. Otherwise, why would be Korech Bezdin Yofet? That which we said, if you made a mistake of exactly a 6, the transaction stands, you just have to return the extra. Lo yamaron ela b'metalta, that's movable objects. Aval, the makarki, if there was more than a 6 or exactly a 6, by land, ein ona lekarkot. There's no such thing as an overpriced piece of land. V'gam b'makarki lo amaron ela the polig be loyal. That's if they divide it based on the value of the land. But if they're doing it by acreage or measurement, avalim polig b'mishchasa, there was a mistake in measurement, then we don't say there's no ana. There is ana by land if a mistake was made because they didn't measure properly. Rava, Shama Rava, kol davar b'midah shemishkol v'shebeminyan, afilu pachos b'chtei ana nami choiser. If they measured wrong, then even if the mistake was less than a 6, you can reverse the whole sale. Now, let's continue our discussion about shlichus. A person causes a fire to spread from his property, or he gives a torch. He puts it in the hand of somebody who doesn't have das, like a deaf mute or a meshigana or a cotton. Technically, if the shoiter, the cotton, went into somebody else's field and burnt it up, so the guy who sent it technically is not chayiv, but chayiv b'dinei shamayim. Heavenly court will take him to judgment. However, shilech biyad pikeach, if he gave the torch to a normal person, and the normal person lit the fire in a field, pikech chayiv. The shaliach is chayiv, not the guy who sent him. B'amai, why not say name a shluch shalom kamo? So why not go back and say, well, a shliach is like the person. Shani yosem dein shliach l'dvar aveira. Shlichus does not. The shaliach, if he performs an aveira, he does it himself. The aveira doesn't go back to the guy who sent him. Damrina divrei arav divrei talmid divrei mishoyim. I send the shaliach to do something, so he has to listen to me or has to listen to Hashem. He has to listen to Hashem. So if he doesn't have aveira, it's on him. Freit the Gemara, there's a conflict by the din of Me'ilah. I have money that belongs to Hegdish. If I spend it for myself, for Chulin, I violate Me'ilah, I have to bring a korban asham, and I have to pay the base of Mikdash an extra 20%. But if I give it to a shaliach, and I tell shaliach, buy this and this and this, he doesn't listen, and he does his own thing. And he was over Me'ilah that way. Shliach mal. The shaliach gets the punishment. But if I told him to buy such and such a thing, and he bought such and such a thing, and it was chulin, imasa shichusa balabais mal. The aver goes back to the balabais who sent it.
Does the shliach know that it's hegdish or not? He has to know it. If he does, he
has
just
to know it in the case where he changed it. He knows it, yes.
Okay, it doesn't say here, yeah. Okay.
But he also shlichus balabais miyamal. Even though he did the shlichus, it goes back to the balabais. Amai. Why should that work? Ein shliach l'dvar veira. So shiny me'ilah, the alpha chet mitruma. Ma truma mashvi shaliach. I can make a shaliach to separate truma. Af me'ilah mashvi shaliach, even for the dvar veira. More of an elef mina. Why don't we learn from the din of me'ilah that there is shlichus to all averis, and maybe the principle of ein shlichus on dvar veira doesn't exist? No. Somebody gave a person an item to watch, and then he used it. That's called shlichus yad b'pikod. So me'ilu shlichus yad shnei ksuva b'am ke'echad. And by shlichus yad, even if he appoints a shaliach who uses the pikod, it goes back to the balabais, to the one who is watching the item. So you have two dinim where there is shlichus advar veira. We have a principle. So that's why in general, by other dinim, it's ein shlichus advar veira. Freit the Gemara me'ilah hadamar. So Mila we saw shlichus yad ma'i. What is this sugi of shlichus yad? The time. It says al kol dvar pesha. Beishamay oimim l'chayiv ala machshava k'maisa. The guy who's watching the pikadon thinks about using the item, he's already chayiv, just for the machshava. Ubeisel enu chayiv ad shishalach b'yad. He has to use the item. Shenemar im lo sholach yado b'mlechus rei. Arba beishamay beisil v'lo kvar nemar al kol dvar pesha. Meaning even deeper, or machshava. You have to do it. Why did the Torah write al kol dvar pesha? So Beisil answers, Sheyachol Eli Ela Imhu. I might think that a person is over the din of shlichus yad only if he did it himself. But Amar la'avdoi l'shlucho, to do it, minayin, that the guy who sent the eved or the shalicha is chayv, Talmud loimer akol dvar pesha. That even the shaleach is mechayev even though he didn't do it himself. Hani chalab beis hillel, al beis shammai demukmin lalai kra, b'machshava kamaisa. He uses akol dvar pesha not to teach me this din of shlichus. So where does Beis Shammai learn that there's shlichus yad even by a shaliach? And you could also say neilif minei. Then from there you could learn to other psukim, or since he's using the pasuk for shlichus yad, you could learn from Me'ilah that there's shlichus l'dvar veira. So we'll have to deal with that tomorrow. Okay, so Tsurba, we will start at 8 o'clock in 5 minutes. I'm going to shut off now.